Hey friend, so in today's studio vlog, we are going to figure out how to digitize a logo. Now, being new to embroidery, a lot of times you can just hire out the digitizing, which would probably be the fastest and most expedient way to do things. But if it's something like simple, like a basic logo or something, I would like to be able to, do that myself and not have to wait for the digitizing to get back to me. If it's more advanced, yes, I have no problem outsourcing it. But for simple things, I'd like to be able to do that myself. So we are going to head over to YouTube University and figure out how to digitize. I'm going to be using Chroma Inspire, the digitizing software that comes with the Recoma. So I'm going to be using Chroma Inspire. You can feel free to use whatever digitizing software you want. But I thought I'd bring you over the shoulder with me today as we figure out how to do basic digitizing. So without further ado, let's get started.
2 hours later.
All right. So that was like a crash course in basic digitizing, but we got it done. So I have these actually sublimation patches left over from a different project. So I'm gonna see if I could get them reasonably centered. I'm not sure how to do that exactly right now, but I'm gonna see if I could get the design, to look nice on this existing patch. If not, we'll have to come back and add a background to make it into a patch. I figured if I had these, maybe I could make this work. So let's hop over to the machine and see what we can do. Loading the design onto the USB, I plugged it into the machine and then pulled it up on the machine to get it ready to stitch out. That turned out not to be such a great idea, because while thinking it through, I wasn't going to be able to center the design directly on that patch, because the iron-on backing would have been enclosed with whatever stabilizer I had to use to put on the hoop. So you wouldn't have even gotten the benefit of having that iron-on backing already on the patch if I used that, because I would have had to float it on top of the stabilizer, and then that would have covered up the iron-on backing. So back to the drawing board, I went back to the computer so that I could create that border around the patch directly in the file. And so that's what we did. So back to YouTube University, I went to figure out how to create this border. It looks very simple, but what I was having trouble with was ending the stitch. I couldn't figure out how to end the stitch, and so I found out that you had to right click your mouse in order to actually end the stitch, because when I was doing the fill stitches, I just would have to hit enter and it would stop that stitch. But with the border, with the satin stitch, it wasn't doing that, and so I figured, found out that was what the trick was. So now we'll save this design and run it back again. This time with the stitch border added to the design. Since I'm not using the pre-made patch anymore, I needed the machine to create the boundary for me. So here we go again, round 2. And of course, before we get started on any design, we want to frame it out just to make sure that it doesn't hit the hoop. And that's what you see me doing here. So we had to stop the presses briefly because I was having some issues with transferring the design over. The first few times that I did it, it came over and it was just a squiggly line. I'm still really not sure what happened there, but I saved it for a third time and it appeared like it should, and I was able to proceed. But in my excitement of finally getting it able to proceed, I started it up and I had forgot to choose my colors. So it started off with the gray for the roof when it should have been red. I stopped it and switched and stopped it. So I stopped it and I selected my colors the way that I wanted it to be, but then it shifted the design over and I knew that it was going to hit the frame if I kept going. So I stopped that, I canceled that job completely and started from scratch. So I started the job completely over with new fabric and stabilizer, and now it seems to be stitching out properly. So we'll continue and I'll show you when we finish. So now once everything was stitched out, I used HeatnBond and pressed that on the back to make them iron-on ready, and then trimmed them up to make them all look crisp and get them ready for my customer. I tested two versions. I created two versions. One was on like a kind of like a canvas, and the other one was on cork because why not? Gotta say that the cork was my favorite. I had used the cork before, and I do kind of like that for patches, for a background for patches, just a little bit something different. They give kind of different vibes, but they both turned out clean and nice. So it's definitely something I'll do again. I kind of am digging creating patches for some reason. So that is today's studio vlog, where we kind of did a quick hit of trying to learn digitizing so that we can create our own designs and not always have to farm them out. If it's something simple and you want to get it done quick, it's good to know basic digitizing. There were some hiccups along the way, but mostly wins, and we got it done. So if you learned something new or just enjoyed watching a good creative pivot, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment if you've ever tried digitizing your own stuff. And until next time, bye-bye.